What's going on, everybody? It's D from DNC Digital, back with another live to promote um, Mission Pro Wrestling. Hope everybody's doing well. Tonight's guest is Madi Wrenkowski. She is running late, but we will truck on until she gets here. So hope everybody's doing good. In the meantime, I will talk to anybody. See what's up with everybody. What's going on here? So I will talk to everybody about the event and what kind of support it's been getting. I talked to Thunder Rosa last night, and she says the support has been so good. Your boy, what's going on, your boy? I know you were here last night when I was talking to Thunder Rosa. Hope all is well. So I spoke to Thunder Rosa last night. She said the support's been awesome. September 18th in Buda, Texas, Pinball's Kingdom. What's going on, Jeremiah? Jeremiah working with Mission Pro Wrestling. Let's see what's up with him. Just in the meantime, until we get Madi online, what's going on, Jeremiah?
What's up? Hey, how's it going?
How's everything?
Oh, not bad. You got me when I was out making deliveries for my job, but I'm here.
For those that don't know, Jeremiah works for Mission Pro Wrestling. So on your end, how's the support been for the new show coming out next month?
It's been incredible. We've gotten 8 sponsors, and thanks to you, shout out to you for being part of that sponsorship too. And then, like, I've been trying to keep up with all the shares from just fans, wrestlers, sponsors, and it's been incredible. The support, pretty overwhelming.
Awesome. What do you think? What do you think people will get out of Hell Hath No Fury next month? If it's the first time seeing wrestlers like Thunder, like Madi, like Baby D, like Lindsay Snow.
Yeah, I mean, there's an incredible lineup. This is like a super indie show that's that everybody's going to witness, either live stream, Title Match Network, or no, wait, TitleMatchWrestlingNetwork.com, or you can still get tickets on MissionProWrestling.net. But I mean, this is going to be a historical night. It's an all-women, all-female promotion, from the ownership to the talent to ring crew. I mean, like, this had never, well, actually, there's only one other promotion, I think, worldwide. I think it's over in the UK or something, but it's going to be historical.
Hey, man, I appreciate you stopping by real quick just to let us know how everything is Mission Pro Wrestling. Madi just walked in, so I'm going to invite her in onto the live. But thanks so much for letting us know how everything is going.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
All right, Jeremiah, take care of yourself, bud.
All right. Hey, Madi. Later.
Peace. Now we're going to be talking to Miss Reality herself, Miss Madi Wrenkowski. How you doing today, Madi? Just waiting for her to come in. There you go.
This is hard to figure out.
Nah, no worries. How you doing today? You're freezing up a little bit. There you go.
I'm good. How are you?
How you doing today? I'm good, thanks. I know I caught you on the tail end of a training session there at Hybrid. Is that correct?
Yeah, right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of it. Oh, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So as far as Hybrid goes, you almost went to Reality of Wrestling, and then you ended up meeting Chris Marvel. How important was that meeting for you that you ended up in Hybrid?
It was honestly very important because instantly, like, as soon as I met him, we kind of clicked, I would say. Just the way that I am, and he was able to respond positively, but he was able to, like, keep up with what I was throwing at him, I think is kind of what sold it for me. Because I tend to have a very, I don't know how to describe it, personality. I have the tendency to just kind of fire off sometimes, like with
Easy. That's good.
Yeah.
I'd rather have people like that than the ones who just, are scared to say anything.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Are y'all able to see me right now?
Yeah, we're good. I see you great. Everything's
Okay,
good.
that's scary because I can't see myself, so I hope it looks good.
No, you look great. So as far as hybrid goes, a lot of famous wrestlers have gone there to do seminars, and they've gone there to help train. Out of all of them, is there anybody that sticks out as far as like, man, I thought he was going to be this way, but he's really that way?
As far as that, I'm not sure if, besides like Molly Holly, which I kind of mentioned before, like it was weird to see her and she interacted with us like literally like she was a person and we were people, like we were on the same level, but in my mind, like going into this, like we literally were not on the same level. She's like done all this stuff, but the way she treats people and the way she talked to us and coached us, it was not like you would expect someone who was like way up there. You expect them to have some type of air about them, and that was totally not the case. But that was one of the good ones. MVP also, it was a different take than what I thought. It was more, basically he kind of showed the importance of the business side, like you are pushing yourself. And I think that's something we forget. We get so caught up in the wrestling, we forget that, we are trying to make it as well in the independents. So
Right.
Sometimes you need to push yourself, like, as a product. And it's hard because, like, you're like, who's going to want to see me or buy my shirt? Like, it's weird at first to do that.
So when it comes to your wrestling, I gotta ask, like, who is it that you decided to maybe emulate, or who did you take a little things from, any inspiration from certain female wrestlers in the past?
Great question. So, I mean, obviously, when I watched Lita, that was someone that I wanted to. And then you get up on that top rope and you realize that maybe I can't do that flip. So having had like Jazz as my trainer, she definitely showed me that sometimes doing the more hard-hitting moves is more effective on like beating someone instead of doing all the flips.
Mm-hmm.
Just sticking with the basics, being able to take someone down at any cost, no matter what size. I feel like that is probably more what I'm geared towards now.
Sweet. Talking about Jazz, you got to wrestle her at the last Mission Pro show. What kind of moment was that for you? Was it more of a step in the right direction, or was it more like, oh my God, I'm facing my trainer in front of people?
It was a little bit of both. So that was literally my first match ever on the independent scene. So I had never wrestled in front of a crowd before, and I was going against Jazz. And like, obviously before I went in there, like I did my homework. So I watched her matches almost like any of the ones that I could find besides like the WWE ones. I was also watching her independent matches because it is a little bit of a different style. And so just hearing like the crowd in the back of those videos, and they're like in the beginning, they're chanting like, Jazz is gonna kill you. I was like, okay, this might happen. This might happen. But it was very surreal. It was exciting. I never thought I would be there. And it was also very terrifying. I think in one of the other podcasts I did, I was telling them I was behind the curtain and it was me and the ref, because I think I went out first and I was like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. Like, this is Jazz. I'm going to throw up. And he's like, breathe. Just breathe. I was like, she's going to kill me.
Was it a different dynamic in that match? Because I feel like when you're just starting and you're doing your first independent matches, you know, you're kind of looking out in the crowd, looking for your trainer's eyes, looking for any type of critique. Now your trainer is in the ring with you. Was she giving you anything? Was she giving you any shit in the ring during the match, or was it just you guys were locked in on the match?
So of course, having trained with her and just knowing the type of person she is, I knew she wasn't going to take it easy on me. Even in training, she would always say, just remember, I taught you some of what I know, not all of what I know. And so I was like, okay. So everything that I knew, she had a counter to it. And literally the next step already planned out. So that was a little bit hard and frustrating at the same time, but it was definitely a growing experience to look back and learn on it.
With that being your first match, it's safe to say that you haven't been, these puppies are killing me. My dog just had puppies and they're just going nuts. One is always getting lost, just walking away and then starts crying because they're lost. My bad. You did it to yourself, buddy. I can't do anything about that. But when it comes to, you know, the last Mission Pro match being your first match, it's safe to say that you haven't been in the business that long. But when it comes to something else, it seems like you've been practicing it so much. Nasty Go had a promo tournament, and you participated in it. Now, when it comes to the round that you had with Jasmine Allure, I caught that promo, and I was like, that is a damn good promo. What do you think is the secret to giving out a good promo no matter how long you've been in the business?
So for me, I don't know if there's like a formula or anything. Honestly, like I was telling you before at the beginning of this interview, that's just me. That's the way I talk. And the fact, like I was telling you before, that Marvel was able to retort that quick with me, it was fun. And so I knew this was a place I wanted to be. I think the most important thing, though, if you are talking to your opponent, personally, from what I've learned here at Hybrid, is to be yourself, to be real. I mean, I am reality, so that's exactly what I gave to her. Okay. But despite how I speak normally, definitely Marvel has always taught us to kind of tone it down on the cursing and stuff like that, because for instance, WWE hasn't started getting more lax on that till recently, because before you couldn't say anything like that. So it's always better to practice not doing that than to go out there and tell someone to post up or whatever.
We'll leave that just as it is. Anybody's promos that you watch that you decide to maybe take from that kind of promo?
In the promo tournaments or just in general?
No, in general, as far as like everybody in the wrestling world. Who's your favorite promo? Let's start there. Who's your favorite promo?
So, one of my favorite people to watch entertainment-wise was always Enzo Amore, unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That guy had the crowd in the palm of his hand. I totally agree with you. Yeah,
so like always when I think about it, like I think back to, besides obviously their intro and the whole soft thing, I always think back to that 205 Live when he had all of them around the ring and he just went through each and every one of them and tore.
Yeah. I may be a little biased when I agree with you, because I too, just like Enzo, am from New Jersey, and I saw a lot of myself in him. I loved the guy when he came out, and all my buddies that knew that I was obsessed with wrestling was like, "Hey, Enzo's like your cousin, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, how you doing?"
Yeah.
just a little bit. Hey, when it comes to Hybrid, you've been training with them for a long time. What's one of the mistakes that somebody can make when they're going into the wrestling business as far as being in the ring?
As far as being in the ring, well, I think the most important thing in the ring and getting into the ring is respect. So Hybrid, I think, teaches you respect in the sense of kind of things you don't always see nowadays in the wrestling world, and especially in this COVID world. Going in, you shaking everybody's hand. When you walk into the training center, you say hello to everyone, especially the coaches. It's your sign of respect. Going into the ring, you always wipe your feet. That's something you see a lot of people not doing. But it's a respect thing. They even do that in martial arts. So I think it's that, getting in the ring, respecting your opponent is one of the biggest things I think they teach us. Even if you think you're going to beat them, like, you still need to have some sort of level of
You're still
respect.
working
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
I learned that a long time ago. I trained for like a year and a half. I learned how to take a couple bumps, but I remember just, you know, I was taught as a kid, you know, to always, you know, say hi and be respectful. So it just came naturally. And I remember
Yeah.
I saw one of my trainers at his job. Okay, we're back. And I stood up and I'm like, "How you doing, sir?" He goes, "I'm at work. You don't need to do that." And I'm like, "No, I do, because I have that respect for you, and you're still a sir to me." So even when I see him on the street, it's still sir. It's still like, "Hey, how are you?" And it's, you know, stand up straight, and you know, you don't want to upset anybody.
Yeah.
So there's one thing I looked through your social media to be able to, you know, ask the right questions. I'm not going to ask you, where'd you get your, you know, wrestling, you know, started. So I decided to, you know, do a lot of research on you. So there's one thing that I want you to defend about yourself, and I'm sure you won't have a problem because you're Miss Reality, right? So
Uh-huh.
this is where the debate kicks in, and I will be very respectful, and I will take your points, and I will take them into consideration. Why is pineapple allowed on pizza, young lady?
Because, so first off, it's like a fruit, right? And so it's like
Okay, that's
healthy.
not that
So
wasn't.
you
It's not a good start.
as an athlete, you have to watch what you put in your body. So if you break it down, you got
Okay.
the tomato sauce, so that's a tomato, right? That's a fruit. You have one good thing. You got the cheese, like cheese sometimes has protein, that's another thing, right? And then you put
Okay.
pineapples on it. You're just layering on the healthiness.
Hey, Rachel
It
Rose, what's
just
going on, Rachel Rose? Rachel Rose, do you agree with Miss Maddie about pineapples on pizza? I'm curious. I have Rachel Rose on next week on Instagram Live. It's going to be a fun one. So you're saying that pineapples go on pizza because it's a fruit?
I'm saying because it makes it feel like it's healthier.
Oh, so now you're tricking your mind into thinking that you're doing something healthy. Is that what it is?
Exactly, and it's all about your mindset and everything. Everything you do, it's about mindset.
Okay, you know what? That with that last point of argument, maybe, but I will still not put pineapples on my pizza. So you got to do a couple cool things. You did a spot for Impact, and then you played security on NXT Worlds Collide. Was there a difference between the two companies as far as production?
Yes, 100%. WWE like has a little bit more spending money.
Right.
So it was crazy to like walk in and they have like these screens that they set up, and even just watching like the like, I don't even, rehearsals. We got to sit in like the bleachers and watch them like kind of do a test run through everyone's like entrances. And I think the one that stuck out to me the most was the UK. I think it was Imperium or something.
Imperium with
Imperial.
Walter
Yeah.
and his crew. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we were all just like sitting there talking, and then all of the screens go white, and it like catches your attention because it's literally like a white screen. Like no one does that, and then that just one line. And with Impact, we weren't fortunate enough to have that kind of setting, so it was very different. And then obviously it was a little bit bigger of a venue at NXT. So just hearing like the crowd, you have the crowd by the ring, then you have the crowd like around the like stadium. It was like deafening. And so it was a different environment, but the same intensity from all of the wrestlers. It was that, like that dynamic, that was the same. But as far as like the environment, as far as the crowd, it was a little bit different. That's,
You know, you go in there and you want to be professional and you don't want to, you know, go all fangirl when it comes to somebody, and you try your best. And I would probably not be able to hold myself if I see somebody that I'm a big fan of, and I'll be very respectful when I go up to them and introduce myself. But was it because it was a great show, the one that you were fortunate to be a part of? Were you able to enjoy that, or are you more, this is my job and I kind of can't distract myself right now?
It's a little bit of both, and that was the beauty of it, because you do get to be backstage, you do get to walk right next to them, eat in the same place as them, and so on one level you feel like them, but you know you're not. But it is like, okay, this is the job I want. This is where I want to be. But at the same time, when we're walking to our extra locker room and we see Scotty 2 Hotty coming down, I'm like fangirling. I'm like talking to one of my tag partners, David Kidd. I'm like, oh my God, that's Scotty 2 Hotty. I was like, oh my God, trying to like keep a straight face. And that one probably was the one that got me the most, that I wasn't expecting to get me.
How hard are you going to work so you can show him your version of his worm?
Oh, well, I mean, I thought about this for a while.
Right.
So I've attempted it.
Let me sit back and let me hear the plan.
Okay, so I've got the whole beginning portion down, the spelling of it, the jumping into it. Now, when it comes to the actual execution of the worm, I'm still trying to figure out how to not break my toe on the second, like going into the second one. So I'm reaching out and I am asking for his help. I would like to be advised on that portion.
You know, looking back, I kind of remember him using the insides of his feet.
Yeah, I've watched his videos like 1,000 times. He posted a Father's Day one with him and his kids. I've literally watched that one like 15 times, and he does like go sideways on his foot. But my foot it literally does not bend like that, I guess. It just won't go that way.
Was there anybody that you were fortunate to have a cool conversation with backstage? Anybody who reached out and stopped by and try to give you some type of motivational speech?
Yeah, so the most unexpected one was we actually had a little bit of time while they were setting up for Worlds Collide. And William Regal actually took us into a separate room, and he legitimately had a maybe 30 to 45-minute conversation with us. And for someone on that level with that high of a position that he has in this company to sit and take the time to talk to us people, when most of us weren't working that day, and he just sat there, he told us about everything he knew. And then he asked us if we had any questions. Like, that was literally so surreal that someone that big could have that much care for people who are wanting to do this. And then we did also get to speak to Devon Dudley for a little while.
That's cool.
Yeah, he gave us some advice on kind of submitting material to be looked at, what to do, what not to do, things like that. So that was very helpful as well.
Yeah, I was fortunate to meet the Dudleys. I met a lot of them. Growing up in New Jersey, we used to go to the Garden all the time, wait outside, and they would just come in and sign if they were nice enough. Talking about being respectful, I got a funny story. I remember my mom, when I was getting ready to go to the show, it was like 12 in the afternoon. And she's like, I thought it didn't start till like 7. And I told her, I'm like, well, we're going to go and we're going to see if they'll be cool enough to sign while they're walking in, She looked at me and she goes, hey, they're at work. Do not bother them at work. She's like, be respectful and ask nicely. And I was like, yes, ma'am. So I go and Randy Orton and Christian are walking in together. And and everybody's, Christian was nice enough. He came up and he signed. And everybody was hounding Orton. And he's just like this, like kind of uncomfortable, but still signing, And then I was just standing to the side. I'm like, Mr. Orton? And he's kind of like, what? I'm like, Mr. Orton? He's like, what'd you call me? I was like, Mr. Orton, that's your last name, right? He goes, yeah. I'm like, would you mind signing this for me, please? Because everybody was just like this. Everybody was like, sign. I was like, would you mind signing this for me, please? And he goes, everybody get out the way. He came up to me. He goes, thank you for asking nicely. And he signed it so pretty. Everybody else he just scribbled. Mine he signed it so pretty and everything. It's a fun time.
Yeah,
When it comes to
he's definitely someone to see. Like when you see him in person, you kind of like take a step back. You're like, dang, that's what you gotta look like to be here. That makes sense.
Yeah, and they always say it. If you're gonna build a superstar from the ground up, you're gonna end up with Randy Orton. That's a cool story about William Regal though, because not only is his position in WWE something to be respected, but his position in wrestling is something to be respected. He's one of those guys that he's gone through it all, and he's just so intelligent when it comes to wrestling. I can't imagine what that conversation was for you. Go ahead and because I see some of your fans online and they're being so supportive. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can get one of your shirts. Albert Jr. I should be watching the Lakers when Maddie comes in. Go ahead and let everybody know where you can get one of your shirts. Are we good? Hello? We're good? Looks like we lost her a little bit. Maddie, you good there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Maddie? She's freezing up. Oh, you're getting choppy on that end. Let's see if we can... Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, now I can. Okay. That'll be edited out in post-production. I see a lot of your fans on, and they're being very supportive. Go ahead and let everybody know where they can grab one of your shirts.
Okay, so my new website is up. It's bigcartel.com with the / Madi Wrenkowski, just like all of my social media. So as long as you can spell my name right, you can get a merch or follow me on anything. That's the first obstacle, is spelling my name right.
Yeah, where'd you get the last name? Because I know we're friends on Facebook. I'll leave that to the side. But so how'd you come up with Wrenkowski?
Cause well, it's Polish. I'm Polish. And then I don't know why Wren is just something like the bird. It's basically, I think, if you look it up, like the Celtic meaning of a wren is like strong, like kind of thing. So I wanted to keep my Polish roots still in there, so I kept my part of my name.
That's awesome. Albert Jr., I should be watching the Lakers, but when Maddie comes on, he's all in there. Babes and Jays, sneakerhead question. What are the kicks looking like today? What sneakers do you have on today, Maddie?
Well, I am currently still in my wrestling shoes, my practice shoes, that is. I need new ones, so.
I'm rocking the Crocs flip-flops right now.
Oh, everyone, you always got to have a couple Crocs in the closet.
Always got to have a couple Crocs. Hey, so talking about your Polish descendancy, are you into Polish food? Because I'm always wanting to learn about food. What would be, if I go to your mom's house, what would be the one Polish dish that you tell her to make me so I can learn about Poland?
Well, my mom is Mexican, so
she would look at you.
She would be like.
She's like, we're going to sit down and have some salsa, some fajita. I don't know.
Yeah, so I like to say that I am like the school I go to because I am literally a hybrid. I am Mexican and I'm Mexican and I'm Polish, so a nice mix there.
Not bad. So what would be the Polish dish that you would tell an outsider to try for the first time?
So there are these things called pierogis. You can have like ones.
I love pierogies.
So those are always good. It's like a dumpling, but then the potato dumplings are probably my favorite. I love potatoes in any way, shape, or form, fried, mashed. And so the potato dumpling is always a good choice.
Polish food isn't the only thing that you enjoy. You're trying to get, you already know what's coming.
Yes, I do.
I do my research, Maddie. You need to understand. I do my research.
I'm going to tag them right now.
I love having that reaction from people. You were trying to get a Valentine's date with the company that serves fried poultry, Popeyes. Tell me about your love for Popeyes.
I love Popeyes. I don't know why. I mean, well, reality is every Tuesdays and Thursdays they would have their 2-piece special for $1.49. Shout out Popeyes. And I love a good deal. And then once they introduced their chicken sandwich, that kind of that set it off.
Were you on one of those long lines waiting for that chicken sandwich? Or were you able to get it quickly?
I was fortunate enough to get it quickly, but if I had to wait in one of those long lines, I definitely would have.
Oh, so what's your favorite side when it comes to Popeyes?
Red beans and rice. I answered that quick because that's not even...
Red beans and rice that's the way to go with Popeyes.
Yes, it is.
I feel like we're talking about Popeyes. We're not even talking about wrestling anymore. So what pieces do you get? I'm a leg and thigh guy. What do you get?
I like legs. If I'm feeling like I'm fine with kind of throwing my money away, I just get the legs. But if I'm feeling like getting my money's worth, I do the leg and the breast so I can feel like I'm eating healthy with a little bit of the white
bread.
meat.
Yes, I understand. Totally understand. Maddie, the person that sneaks in the back and pretends to work there.
I might.
You're just gonna go get some of their merch and end up with a hat like, hey guys, we're doing a corporate dinner. We're just gonna grab some.
I'm just taking it to the back. Yeah, I saw they had merchandise. Like I literally like fangirled a little bit, and I was like, no, we need to save our money.
We need to save our money and eat a little better. You know, like pineapples on pizza. Totally.
Yes, exactly. I'm glad we're on the same page now.
We're not, young lady. I mean, the whole food deal is like, I don't get it. I'm not a pineapple on pizza person. I do pepperoni, some sausage, and some ham or bacon, some meat. You know, meat. But yeah, Albert Jr. 24. You need to get that Popeye sponsorship. That'd be awesome.
I know. I wish they would. See, that's what I always said. Like when I was starting up, I was always like, "Hey Marvel, if I got Popeyes to sponsor me, would you be mad?" And he's like, "A sponsor is a sponsor, but don't be eating it all the time." And I was like,
exactly.
Agree to disagree, but you said yes.
Do you remember those puppies I was telling you about?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This one we call Alpha because out of all of them, she walks around the entire apartment. She messes with everybody. She's the more advanced one. This is not the one that gets lost. The one that gets lost, he's lost. Something.
He's lost right now?
Yeah, he's lost right now. But this is Alpha. She's just
What
chill.
kind of dogs are they?
So the dad is part pit, but his look leans more toward pit than anything else. And the mom is a mix of I don't know what. Like
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
She's a hybrid too?
Yeah, she's a hybrid too. There you go. So staying on the topic of food, you said that one of your American heroes, you know, when you talk about American heroes, before we get into this question, when we talk about American heroes, you think, you know, like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson declaring independence from England to start this country. You think of Martin Luther King, who spearheaded the civil rights movement. You think of John Glenn, who was one of the first men to walk on the moon. Neil Armstrong, you know? But one of your American heroes is Joey Chestnut. The man who ate God knows how many hot dogs in his lifetime. Tell me about your fandom for Joey Chestnut.
So, 4th of July is my favorite holiday. So, of course, besides fireworks, the hot dog eating contest is one of the traditions that America has. Some people know about it, some people don't. In my household, we would always watch it. And a couple of years ago, I actually got to fly to New York and see the hot dog eating contest in person. And to watch Joey Chestnut shove, like 72 hot dogs down his throat in I think it was 10, 15 minutes. Like, that is crazy to watch, these people do that. I don't even think they chew, and that's what scares me.
I think I think the hot dog just goes in, and we're gonna leave that joke right there. I'm not gonna touch that joke. But when it comes to the bread, I think he puts it in his mouth and he breaks it down with his soda.
They dip it, so they cup some water. So what they do is they get the hot dogs, and they have 3 or 4 at a time, and they'll just shove them in their mouth. And they grab the bread and they dip it in the water, and then they put the soggy bread in their mouth and they just swallow it. I've researched, and he also he literally does jaw exercises. So you have to take care of your masseter muscles right here.
Wow.
So he chews a lot of gum. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of an expert.
Brother Network joined in. Mills Revival joined in. Thank you guys for coming in. So now, Maddie, let's talk about Mission Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
I'm telling that, and I keep saying it, but it's so true. The closer we get to this, the more important I feel like it's becoming. And when it comes to mainstream wrestling promotions, you have your one women's champion, or in the case of WWE, you have several women's champions across the board, along with their tag team champions. And, so it's the champion with the challenger that gets the spotlight in the storyline that runs for about a month. So with Mission Pro Wrestling, what they're doing is that they're giving the spotlight to an entire roster of women. And not only that, but behind the scenes, women are also running the company. How important do you feel Mission Pro Wrestling will be for the future of females in wrestling?
So I think it's very important, and as lame as that answer sounds, I think women don't necessarily get the credit that they deserve. I do understand that some people think that we may not be able to do things as well as the guys. You always hear people say oh, that's get the snacks. But in the past, I would say 3 or 4 years, that's definitely changed. People actually tune in to watch the women wrestle, not just to see what scantily clothes they're wearing anymore.
Right. Yeah, right.
I think Mission Pro Wrestling is doing an excellent job of showing the variations of women that not only we have here in Texas, but that we have pulling from different states. A lot of different styles are going to be showed on Mission Pro. I think it's going to give women the chance to have a platform that we didn't necessarily have and get recognized not just for maybe the way we look or what pictures we post on Instagram, but for the fact that we can be businesswomen, we are wrestlers, we can do it, and we can do it 10 times better.
What do you want people to walk away with after that show is done? When they're in the car and they're having their conversation about the show on the way home?
I mean, honestly, I don't want them to think oh, wow, that was really great for a women's show or anything like that. They should be saying oh, wow, that was a really great show. It doesn't, and I think that's maybe the misconception. Yes, this is a women's based show. Yes, it's a women roster being run by women. And I think the point here is us not only saying hey, we're women and we're doing this, but we can run this as a normal show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want people to...
The added layer that it's, women is more of a bonus rather than a marketing scheme or, hey, by the way, we're all women. It's more no, we're all women and we're doing this. And it's something that I'm really honored to be a part of. And I'm glad that I'm able to support you guys. And, we're promoting this with a bunch of Instagram lives on the way to the show, September 18th in Buda, Texas. So when it comes to the show, you're going to have a lot of young girls going to the show with their parents. And what do you feel about that platform that you have these little girls that might come up to you after the show and tell you how much they love your match and how much they, I want to wrestle too, or I want to be like you. What do you feel about that platform that you have and the reach that you can accomplish?
So again, I kind of like to applaud myself in a way, because I do think that I hold myself to a high standard. Like, I have that for myself. I'm not saying that I am on a high standard, but I hold myself to kind of be looked at and be able to be some type of role model. I don't think that I do anything that would say otherwise. I'm very fortunate, and I'm so incredibly happy that Robin and Thunder Rosa gave me this platform, and they're allowing me to like put myself out there like that, to be a little girl's idol, or to have someone look up to me. Like, that is very honoring. Like, when I got into this, obviously I wanted to wrestle. I am an athlete, and I wanted to showcase that. But when you think about WWE and you think about those businesses, or even Thunder Rosa, you see how big her character, like her personality is. She has a huge personality, and that's why I love watching her in the ring, because not only do you get a show when she's coming to the ring, you get a show with her personality while she's in the ring. When she's wrestling, you see her personality shine through. I think a huge part of wrestling is connecting with the people, and so that's always something that I would like to do. Like, again, we were talking about Enzo Amore. Yeah. My favorite thing about him was not his wrestling. Surprise. It was definitely the way that he connected. So to be able to have a platform and to be able to get an opportunity to kind of put myself out there, and to have people want to come up to me and talk to me and whatnot, ask for advice, it's humbling, honestly. And so I'm very thankful for Mission Pro Wrestling for this opportunity.
So yeah, like like you mentioned, 3-4 years ago, everything started happening for women in wrestling, and that's an awesome thing to watch. And not only that, but like, it was the women's soccer team. It was Hillary Clinton running for president. It was Michelle Obama's amazing speech at the Democratic National Convention 4 years ago, that they also wanted her to run for president. So a lot of women were in the spotlight. Ronda Rousey with her UFC career and moving on to WWE.
And the Kardashians.
I don't keep up with them. Sorry, Maddie. I don't keep up with them. They're in the pineapple pile over there. Okay. So what would you credit that to? Why? And also with that, why did it take so long for women to get on stage like that, in their rightful spot on the stage?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of like every movement that you are seeing now, whether it's BLM or LGBTQIA rights. It's our generation of people, whether you want to call us millennials or whatever. I think that we are taking back kind of society, if that makes any sense. I think that women are finally standing up for themselves. And I think that the men in our generation, most of them, are with us. And that's kind of reassuring. Like, everyone's on, well, not everyone, but we're on the same page. And I think that's helpful. Right. Women are getting opportunities. Women, like, we are always able to do everything men can do, and we are always at this level. Mm-hmm. But I think with society and all of the social media that we have now and all of the different platforms, it's now we are able to stand up for ourselves in almost any type of media. It's not just, like, let's look at the daily news or whatever. Like, women are showing every day that they are on the same level. Like, we are on an equal playing field, I would say. Right. And so I think it's just kind of like everything else in this world. It's just more in everyone's faces because we have those platforms to do so now.
When you talk about the media and how they can, diverge your attention elsewhere to the wrong way, the wrong target. I recently became a fan of this show on Netflix called Down to Earth with Zac Efron. And I'm only bringing this up because you tweeted about it. So it's an awesome, for those who haven't watched, it's an amazing docu-series where he goes around the world and he like learns about superfoods, about these natural foods that actually can have nutritional value for you. And we have no idea about it. He tries amazing food. He's very receptive to other traditions and customs, and he's very respectful. He wants to do everything correctly. There's a town in Italy where most people are like over 100 years old, and he goes to find out why. Now, it made me become a fan of him because I honestly didn't really see much of him, as far as his film career. So, he's a great looking guy, good beard, killer eyes. And the guy works out. So you retweeted something that somebody brought to the attention that people were actually body shaming this guy, saying that he had a dad bod. If that's a dad bod, I will take a dad bod any day of the week. I say that in the most respectful way. That guy looks great. He looked like crazy for I guess that picture was maybe from Baywatch. That's the only movie I can think of that he had to show his body. So he did have a scene in his docuseries where he did like a steam bath in Ecuador, I think it was the last episode. It was in Ecuador, and Jay Garman, check it out. It's really educational and it's good. The point I'm getting to is that body dysmorphia, body positivity, it's also an issue with men. I was 150 pounds since high school. And a couple of years ago, I started working out. I got to 180, and I felt good. I felt great. Looking at past pictures, people never told me that I was that thin. I was like, why aren't you telling me that I'm floating inside my shirt and that my head looks that huge? And they're like, no, I mean, you were happy. You were good. But, and I see them after a while, and they're like, hey, you look great. I'm like, did I not before? So when it comes to that, I went back home to visit Jersey, and when I came back, I ate everything over there. You know how it is. We don't have any of that food over here, so I had to, I got to eat there. I got to eat there. I got to eat there. So I came back and I gained 20 pounds. Now I feel okay, but I got a little belly that I got to work out. So the point I'm getting to is that body dysmorphia, body positivity is still an issue with men, whether people realize it or not, myself included. In your experience working with other men in the wrestling industry, how much of an issue is that with them? Do they feel unconfident sometimes when they have to go? Because they're showing more skin than you are.
Yes, they are. So at that, I unfortunately cannot answer with enough knowledge. I feel like there is a stigma with men that they can't necessarily voice these concerns. So I unfortunately don't have the knowledge to say like yes or no, because I personally have never had someone tell me that.
Right.
I can definitely tell you that body dysmorphia is a thing, and it is very prevalent in males and females. But I think the good thing now with professional wrestling that you see nowadays, and even bringing it back to Mission Pro Wrestling, is you will see women in every different way, like every different like shape, form. We're very diverse roster. And so I think that alone, like you were saying, with the little girls who are coming to the show,
Right.
that is almost very like reassuring. Like, you don't have to look like Stacy Keibler or Nikki Bella to make it. Like, you don't have to look like
right
that.
Here, you can look like Otis and be a Money in the Bank winner.
Exactly. And kind of like we were talking about earlier as well, it's all about your mindset. Unfortunately, we do still have, like I said, those social media platforms where everyone feels like they can give you their opinion. So it is hard sometimes, and I imagine it's hard for some guys, because I know a lot of times people are like, oh, you're a wrestler, like you don't look like Randy Orton. And it's like, well, I can still do what I do. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, that's a good point you bring up. When it comes to men in the wrestling industry, I feel like it's just it is something that they can't feel vulnerable in front of people. You know, it's hey Maddie, be honest, socks currently match or not? Are your socks matching right now?
I mean, I think they're on my feet and my shoes are on. I don't know. I'm gonna say yes.
Let's just say yes, just to be sure. But Maddie, I want to thank you so much taking the time out of very important training that you got going on. We're gonna see Maddie next month, September 18th at Pinballs in Buda, Texas. Maddie, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you on social media besides Instagram.
So I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I think that's it. And then, of course, my big cartel, all at Madi Wrenkowski. Everything's the same, so you should find me on anything. Again, spelling my last name is the biggest challenge.
Awesome. Albert Jr. and Maddie, so okay, I'll let you read that. Maddie got those guns on the DL, though. TCBTX Photography. It's going on Sim Shadows 247. I want to thank everybody watching right now. I want to thank everybody who joined in. DNC Digital right here. Madi Wrenkowski right here. It's also going to be on YouTube, guys. So if you want to YouTube DNC Digital, I got all the interviews that I've been doing with Baby D, which is your opponent next month. Promise Braxton, Lindsay Snow, Thunder Rosa. I got more coming up. So if you want, follow me here. What's today? Today's Thursday. So Tuesday, I will be having Rachel Rose, and then I will be having Jenna Lynn on next Thursday, a week from today. So, again, I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank Thunder Rosa for allowing me to be a part of this. Mission Pro Wrestling, make sure you guys follow next month. And it's also streaming on the Title Match Network. Baby D got nothing on Maddie. Maddie, do more of lives. They want more lives, Maddie. That's what it is. Just do me a favor and do not get any pineapples near your live.
I'm going to. That's the next one.
I hope you had a great time, Maddie. Thanks again. I appreciate your time. I'll be seeing you guys next month. Everybody take care of yourselves. Have a good night.